Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Darren After the Credits number 53. I am joined by Taz. Hello, Taz. How's it going?
Hello. Going well. It is the holiday season.
It is the holiday season. I know. Ho, ho, ho. You filthy animals. It's crazy. Santa Claus isn't coming to town yet, but my friend Taz is.
Yes.
And Darth is coming. He's on
his way.
Yeah, he's finishing some shows where he can talk about some really cool episodes of the Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos, and we also had the Superman trailer. Now, I did a reaction to it. I talked a little bit about it on the pipeline. I did like a 2-hour stream on Ronin's channel this past week, but it's still not enough. We must talk about it even more. And you know what? It wouldn't have felt right if I didn't talk about it with you and Darth, because I feel like we've done so much prep for it.
Yeah.
We had to do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's been like almost 2 years in the making as far as that goes. Yeah. There from the start when they were first announcing everything, announcing the casting and everything, and it's crazy to actually be at this point where not only has the new DCU started with Creature Commandos, but we've got our first trailer for what is the first full movie release. We have some teasers as far as what's coming up next down the pipeline, no pun intended. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. What's the DCU project that you're most excited for right now, whether it have been announced, rumored, not yet announced?
Yeah, no. And I will get to these comments in a second. You know what? I think it does have to be Superman, just because it is like, I think it helps that we have a trailer for it, and that's kind of like around the horizon. And like we just got down with Superman and Lois, but like Superman means so much to me. Like that's a character that just means the world to me. So that, but also I'm really excited for Teen Titans. Like I know that one's kind of like not like official, but everyone's kind of playing it off as it is official. So obviously take that one with a grain of salt, but I don't know. Teen Titans, I think, can be so much fun, and I like those.
Yeah.
Like, I think you were a bigger fan of the Titans series than I was.
Yeah.
I did not like that show, and
really?
Like every season, I'm like, I wish we could have like good live action Titans because it was so cool.
I don't know. The hype was like the hype around that, and how it kind of evolved and changed behind the scenes, and then we got what we got. Yeah. And that initial reaction, I still remember the initial reaction to that first trailer. I remember making a video on it when it dropped, when when they were talking about the whole DC streaming service. Like, I actually had this question asked to me earlier this week. It was like, what if Titans had aired on the CW or something else,
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know how well it would have turned out. It definitely would have been a completely different tone. I think it would have been a lot better as a full-on HBO or HBO Max project. But, we got what we got. I enjoyed it for what it was. I wish that we could take the cast from that and then throw it into the new DC universe, but completely reboot the story. But at this point, again, we're kind of moving away from a lot of stuff from the past, except we aren't in some ways. I think whatever we get as far as Titans go in the DCU, it's going to be more so related to obviously what they have. Maybe we get there have been rumors about Wally West Flash, about we know Damian Wayne is going to be the Robin in the DCU Batman movie Brave and the Bold, so maybe they are going to be part of this Teen Titans team, and it's not going to be necessarily a Nightwing led team. It is going to legitimately be Teen Titans rather than Titans, which I think I would enjoy quite a bit as well.
Yeah. I do want to ask you what your most anticipated is, but I do want to check these comments really quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you, everyone who's joining. Jeffrey's in the house. Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, Taz. Hello,
I don't know that guy.
EH1. You don't? Oh, guess I'll block him.
Who's Taz? Yeah, get rid of that guy.
Hello, Kenneth. Hope you're doing well. Hello, One Marvel fans. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, my friend.
Happy holidays.
I also do love Taz's sweater. That's
Thank you.
very
I
sick.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I was telling Darren beforehand that it actually had lights in the lightsaber that I had to take out because unfortunately they died. So I'm in the market for some new sweater lights.
I would like another like Star Wars holiday thing. I don't know. Like I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah, what was it, the Lego holiday special?
that was fun. Like
Yeah.
it is weird because like again like Star Wars is kind of known for being associated with that bad holiday special. But I do think since so many of those movies came out around Christmas, there is an association with me, even though I only saw one in theaters, with Star Wars and Christmas. And I feel like I don't know, maybe we can get like a Disney Plus show or something.
That'd be fun, or maybe like almost like a remake of the Christmas special, but try to make it, or the holiday special, but try to make it good. And I think that's kind of what they did with the Lego version of it. Or even go full force and just make a full-on sequel to it and just make it crazy, off the walls, horrible, but horrible in a good way.
Yeah.
Another kind of Star Wars holiday deep cut, really quick, is there was somebody on YouTube a long time ago did like it's called the Lego Star Wars Christmas special or something like that. It was kind of like a claymation style thing, but with Legos. If anybody in chat knows what I'm talking about, like that was kind of funny back in the day. I loved that.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how well it aged. I don't know how long ago it was that I saw it, but I remember it, and there were like 2 or 3 parts of it or something. It was kind of
fun. Best holiday wishes to the After Dark gang. Well, thank you so much. I hope you're also doing well. Jeffrey's never seen a sweater like that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I wore my little like Snuggie Christmas onesie. I have a back there. It's dirty now. I had to wash it for Christmas, but I have like a Grinch sweater that I like to wear around the holidays. Nice. That's fun. But yeah, I mean, what about you in terms of like your most anticipated DCU project? Like, what's kind of on your roster?
I know it's kind of a cop-out answer. I'm gonna go exactly with what you said and say Superman.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm a sucker for a good Superman story. I think after this trailer, it further emphasized that for me as well. Like I'm very excited for this. And you throw Crypto into the mix, and he seems like he's gonna be a main player in this. I think Superman #1, very close #2 though, is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I love that comic storyline, and I think if they adapt it well, but mold it and change it in specific ways, maybe make it a prequel. Like maybe that's how, maybe that's where Crypto came from and that's how he's where he is now. That sort of thing. And I know Supergirl's potentially maybe possibly going to be a part of Superman as well in this movie. So I think that kind of duology there, and Supergirl is supposed to be, I guess, the second movie, because that's the one that's in most, not recent development, but the furthest along in development, and it's supposed to start filming at the beginning of next year, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's because I think it's Supergirl is next, and then it's now Clayface.
Clayface is #3. Yeah, so random, completely out of left field.
Yeah, no, like again, I've talked about this in kind of great detail at this point, but it's like I understand that I 100% think of like it was ready to be made. Like Batman wasn't ready, Swamp Thing wasn't ready, all these authorities wasn't ready. Swamp Thing was ready. Apparently someone gave him a script. They're like, hey, this looks good. Go for it. So yeah, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to that. And I've talked it through. I wish it wasn't the third thing, but honestly, I guess it's good. Like again, like I would rather this, what they're doing right now, than like those like 5 years of like, oh, I don't know, none of this stuff is ready, so I guess we'll do none of it. We don't have a plan. So at least we're getting stuff. Let's just hope it's not like. Because also, I do feel like we almost got to that point with the ODC where it's like throwing stuff at the wall until it sticks.
Just random whatever,
Right. Shazam 2, I guess. I don't know.
In a lot of ways, it is kind of like, I keep relating it to the old Justice League animated series and Justice League Unlimited, where you had arcs, but you also had standalone episodes, and I think that that's what all of these projects are. We're, again, in this established, lived-in DC universe. And sometimes you're going to get, main continuity, mainline episodes. Like you're going to get your Superman movie, you're going to get your Supergirl movie, you're going to get your Green Lantern TV show. But other times you're going to get some random crazy spin-offs like Creature Commandos, like Clayface, that sort of thing to kind of pad out the universe. build out all the different corners that you possibly can. And I think that leaves us open to a lot of fun projects. Like, I think that we could potentially get maybe like a Constantine movie set in this DCU, just because it's so, out there. We could get a focus on villains that we don't normally get a focus on. Like, a lot of people really wanted that Reverse Flash origin story for the Flash TV show. So maybe we could get a Reverse Flash movie instead of a Flash movie first. That would be kind of interesting.
That'd be crazy. For sure. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we do just have to jump into that trailer, and I can pull it up here. But like, what was your kind of opinion on the day? Like, what did that day look like to you? Because to me, when did it drop? Thursday? Like, I thought Thursday was such a special day. Yeah. What was your kind of day like in terms of like watching that trailer?
Well, first off, I had to avoid it pretty much all day because I was working. So I tried my best to stay off the internet before I got home so I could actually like fully react to it. Yes, I saw a couple of screenshots. Yes, I saw people talking about the trailer online, and it seemed like overall very positive reception. So I was increasingly more and more excited to watch that trailer when I got home. I got home, got my setup all prepared, sat down, watched the trailer, and you could see in my reaction, I was like smiling the whole time. I was hyped. I was excited. I felt like I was rambling like crazy just because my mind was in so many different directions. It was everything that I wanted, and I think I had a very interesting thought with it as well. It's something I didn't mention in my video, but something that I kind of have thought about over the last couple of days since it's been out is I almost don't want any more marketing from this other than maybe posters. Like, I think that's all we need. They didn't even put it. They didn't even put a title card in it. You know what it is? It's Superman. It's Superman. It comes out in July. Comes out July 11th. Give us a poster when the tickets go on sale. Tell us to go buy the tickets now. Let's fill up the theaters. I don't want to know anything else about this movie until it comes out and my butt is in that seat on July 11th or I guess July 10th preview night.
Yeah, no, I like they have been marketing it as a like teaser trailer. Not a teaser trailer, actually.
No, it's 2.5 minutes. It's a full trailer.
I guess it's teaser because they don't give us like, I don't know,
it's
much
not a story
dialogue.
Trailer.
Yeah, it's just like
in the sense of like a game trailer, right? Like you have a teaser trailer that doesn't really show off gameplay or anything like that. It's like a cinematic, and then you have a story trailer which tells you like what the story of the movie's gonna or of the game is gonna be in a gameplay trailer, that sort of thing. So I think that's how they're separating it.
Yeah, and then James Gunn also said that like they didn't like everything we saw is kind of like from the beginning of the movie, like the middle and the end is kind of a secret to us, which is exciting because most of what we saw here was kind of what we already knew. Like I feel like all like we saw all those like behind the scenes photos and leaks and you know stuff like that. So it's like the fact that if he's telling the truth, maybe he's wrong or he's just like misguided or whatever. If like the rest of it is stuff we've never seen before, that's exciting. Yeah, that's really really cool that we could hopefully be going in. I hope blind because I do want to go in mostly blind. Obviously there's gonna be marketing. Obviously I'll probably watch one more trailer they put out. Maybe another one after that, maybe, but like I think I agree with you. I don't need anything else. I would, and I feel like a lot of people would kind of agree based on it what being in the top 5 most watched trailers of all time.
I don't even know what is it at right now.
I can pull it up.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I just
39 million views. 4 days. 39 million views in 4 days. 1.1 million likes, and YouTube does not show you dislikes anymore. But that is insane.
Oh, I don't want to see the dislikes on that. That must be crazy. But also it should also be added the highest rated, or like I guess the highest viewed trailer for an original, not original movie, but like for something that's not a sequel, right? It is kind of the first in its kind of thing. Yeah. Everything else is like Spider-Man 3 or Avengers 4 or 3 and 4 and Deadpool 3. Yeah. So like this is the first, and like I will be honest though, like I have heard people be like, oh my gosh, if this is only the first thing, you know, it's going to get even more views for a superhero and stuff like that. It was like, well, it got so many views because it is the first thing. Like everyone wants to see the first look at the new DC universe, at the new Superman.
I mean, it made the news. Like they were playing this trailer like on like local news stations and stuff. They're like, Superman trailer is out. And I think it's something that kind of transcends beyond just the DC fandom. I think it does, superhero fans, it's movie fans, it's just people who enjoy entertainment and media. I think it's such a big thing because we haven't had a Superman movie like this that has been marketed as a movie for everyone. A movie, how's it going? A movie that is very relevant to the times as well. So I think it hits all those marks.
I agree. Darth, we're kind of just talking about the new Superman trailer that we got this week. Have you seen it yet?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I got that privilege. Wow. I gotta say, I was really like disappointed because obviously everybody was like, I want what's his name, Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan, right? And then there we are getting him as Guy Gardner, the guy that everybody loves to hate, you know. But then we saw some pictures and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, that haircut, what have you done to him? What have you done to that handsome man? Thank you. You know, and then all of a sudden you see him moving and you're like, oh, it makes sense. Okay, I'm down for this. Yeah, okay, give it to me. And Crypto? Oh, little stunner. Any little stunner. Oh my goodness. My God.
I cannot wait to so meet that happy. I know people were like bullying him when they, like that first trailer came out. And I was like, come on, guys. It's just like I really did not see the issue with changing the type of dog he was. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
And then I saw him. I'm trying to find him in the trailer here. I saw him and I'm like, oh, I will protect this man. I will protect this thing with my life. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Look at him. Kidding me?
Look at him.
Yeah, literally, you can like, slap a red cape on any. Yeah, slap a red cape on any dog and call him Crypto. I don't care. You know.
It was so smart. James Gunn knows what gets butts in seats. He knows a dog with a cape on is going to get all the families in these seats. A flying dog. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He knows that I am going to buy that Funko Pop. I'm going to buy that plushie. Mm-hmm. He's really, again, this is what he does best. Like, he's really good at, like, making these relatable characters. And what's more relatable than a man and his best friend? Like,
yeah.
He's
I mean, he knows how popular, too, like, Rocket Raccoon was, how popular Groot was. So this is just the next thing. And I think Crypto's going to show up everywhere he can. I know, again, Supergirl, he's probably going to show up there too because he's a big part of Woman of Tomorrow. So I think Crypto fans are in for a treat, dog treat.
I will say, if Supergirl was a prequel, like I did see someone bring up, hey, what if they like kill off Crypto in this movie? And I'm like, you better not kill this man. I will.
No. I don't think they could ever recover from that. If they, no, like I don't think you could do that.
Mm-hmm. I think this, and we don't have to talk about this too long, but I do want to talk about a couple shots. This shot right here, easily my favorite shot in the trailer. What a cool shot this was.
That's insane how he doesn't break that kid's neck.
We don't have like IMAX theaters here. But I want to see this in IMAX, man. I know it's about to look gorgeous. Like,
yeah, see this on the biggest screen with the loudest speakers possible.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Nicholas Hoult. Oopsies. Nicholas Hoult is not Superman. Lex Luthor. Which, I mean, me and Taz, we talked about this when he was way before he was cast. Like, we had talked for several weeks there about like, rumors. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was for a while up for Superman. Like he auditioned for Superman, and when that happened, and again, I don't remember our exact conversation, but I said, I don't really see him as Superman. I see him as Lex Luthor. I think he would fit that role well. And a couple weeks later, he's like, nope, he's our Lex Luthor. And I was like, thank God. Like, look at him. Like, to me, he just looks like Lex Luthor, like off the page to me.
Yeah,
like,
I think it works really well. He does also look like Hitman Agent 47 as well.
Yeah.
But no,
I know you're
it.
eating. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I love it, and I did see somebody somewhere post too that he went from playing the hairiest comic book character with the Beast to now the least hairy comic book character with Lex Luthor.
That's really funny.
I thought that was pretty funny. That shows some real range there.
Absolutely. Darth, I know that you're eating here, but do you have any thoughts on our Lex Luthor?
Just that I'm very excited. Nicholas Hoult is an incredible actor, a very strong talent. I'm not gonna lie, wouldn't have been like my first choice, or I'm not gonna lie, even in the realm of possibilities, I just wouldn't have put the two together. But that's what I love, is that, like, for me, he's like, he would have been like an outside choice, so that just makes it so much more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because like, I'm not gonna lie, Michael Cudlitz, let's be real, like, we cannot be talking any more of like an outsider choice for Lex Luthor, and he gave us the biggest, baddest, like, just such a cool Lex Luthor. Honestly, the presence that man had, like, I know Lex Luthor never like shies away from Superman, but he really like got in his face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when Jesse Eisenberg done it, like, he was all in his grill, but he was all smarmy about it. Do you know what I mean? It was all weird and different. That was strength that, like, Cudlitz was showing, and I love that.
Yeah, I love. You know, I think that like Lex Luthor is slowly becoming, if not my favorite, one of my favorite just like comic book villains of all time, because I now love, very similar to Lois and Clark, those two characters. I feel like each adaptation kind of gives their own spin on the character. Every version of Lex is so fundamentally different.
Yeah.
And they're all so good. Like John Cryer, Michael Rosenbaum, Michael Cudlitz, now Nicholas Hoult, they all kind of give their own unique vibe. Even Jesse, where like I know I'm a hot take. I actually kind of like Jesse as Lex. That's a very, very different Lex Luthor. Like, it's a very I don't love him, but I think like like my take is, I think we would have loved him if he would have had more, like if he would have got to do it a little bit longer. Like, I think if he got a couple more movies, I think we would have been like, oh, that's what they were planning with him. Okay. That being said, like, I don't know if you guys heard they did like a Q&A when they dropped the trailer in like New York or whatever. And the way these characters talk about their characters makes me so excited. Like, Nicholas was really talking about it, and he's like, yeah, Lex sees himself as the hero of the story. He sees himself. And like he talks about, like, in his mind, he is saving the world. And that's something I've been really, really wanting to see in a Lex again. This idea that it's like, no, Superman's a bad guy. Like, guys, he's come to take it over. We can't trust him. I, Lex Luthor, am going to save you from Superman. And like, oh man, I'm so excited to see a Lex. To be honest, that's kind of like enemies of Superman from the jump. Because, I mean, let's be honest, we haven't actually had that in a while, where like Michael Cudlitz was more of a Lois villain, which I loved. Jesse Eisenberg really didn't get to like the roots of that. My Adventures hasn't, like, we're building up to it. Michael Rosenbaum, you had to kind of build up to it. John Cryer was Supergirl's villain, right? So it's like we are getting that like rivalry day one, that hatred, that, you know, that very comic booky no Superman kind of thing from day one. And I think that's very exciting.
Yeah,
I just love how, like, sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
Just, I'm confused, right? It's like in the Marvel thing where they're like, "Oh, I hate mutants, man." Like, how can he have that stance when he's like, "Oh, what is he just trying to take over the world with benevolence and like heroicism?" You know what I mean? Like, where is like the fascism or world taking over part? You know what I mean? Like, when does the shoe drop for Lex Luthor? Like, what is, like, does he think, "Oh no, I'm in a real pickle here. Everything's like, he's working everything out, and I'm just, what do I do?" You know what I mean? Like, where is his stance come from? Do you know what I mean? It's obviously xenophobic, but it's just like,
I have interesting take on this, right? So we've been told that he's definitely going to be more so the scientific Lex Luthor, right? So he is going to be the man who's making gadgets, who's doing all his science experiments. He probably created this kaiju monster or whatever. Imagine a guy like that. You're a man of science. Everything that is crazy and fantastical you can create in a lab. And then this guy just shows up on Earth with all of these extraordinary abilities that you cannot necessarily replicate or explain. And I think maybe that's how, again, we get that kaiju monster. That's how we get Ultraman. I think maybe all of these are Lex's experiments to try to see if he can replicate the abilities of Superman and maybe in his mind rationalize this being. I think that would be a very interesting take, and maybe one of a little bit of a healthy dose of fear out of what he's possibly capable of, but also a equal dose of maybe some sort of inferiority complex. Like he's like, okay, I am the smartest man in the world. I can create whatever I want, whatever I need. However, there's this guy who is so much more powerful than me physically that I need to try to match that in some capacity.
Yeah, like I think for me, like Lex is always the most fascinating when it's out of jealousy. Like, you know, like he can mask it with fear and he can be like, oh no, he's going to be blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, he wants to be what Superman is. He wants to be the hero of the people. Like, I will always love that scene from Supergirl, like that first Jon Cryer episode where it's like, I was the man of tomorrow, not him, not him. And it's like, no, he just wants to be that. Like, that's what he wants to be. And he will never, ever be Superman. I mean, look at that Smallville scene where he, like, Clark just kind of punches him without his powers. Like, he's just that guy.
I do really, now that we're kind of talking it out, I love the juxtaposition.
What?
Go ahead. Yeah, I think we both kind of talked
about each other. That has to be like, but that has to be like where the insanity part comes in, right? And why he's a villain, because, like him and Batman, like initially had the same reaction. Hero and villain had the same reaction to Superman, but then like their parts played out and their reaction played out, and like obviously Batman put his away, like was like obviously this is a rainy day situation. Lex Luthor's putting his in weapons, you know. So like it has to be some kind of jealousy, because there's no way like he could say, oh, there's a man that like could just destroy everything with the flick of his wrist. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try and be equally as strong and offensive, so I could be the one in charge. And then there's still the same variables and problems, so the world is still at risk. I mean, there's no logical solution to what what he's trying to do, as scientific as he is. I do like the idea, however, that Superman, like say for example, like a whole bunch of stuff came from space, right? Radioactive material came from his planet, right? So who's to say that some form of like illnesses aren't ramped up for him being here? Do you know what I mean? Like, say for example, like you had the quote unquote meteor freaks of Smallville, but say for example, what if like cancer was kicked up a notch because people are near deposits of kryptonite? Do you know what I mean? So then like that could give Lex Luthor some kind of a logical foothold, is all I'm thinking. Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment he just has nothing apart from xenophobic jealousy, you know? Right. And for him being such a smart guy, I kind of need him to start from somewhere that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a very interesting take. I think something like that could definitely happen. I'm not sure also if they would go down the same route that they kind of did in the old DCEU, where like, oh, he's Superman, he can destroy a bunch of things, and maybe like some buildings get destroyed in a big fight or whatever. I don't necessarily think that they'll go down that same route. I saw something that could maybe tie into that. I know Jeffrey in the chat brought up the thing with Ultraman, right? So
Yeah.
are we sure that that's Ultraman? I think for all intents and purposes that this is the interpretation. I'm pretty sure there were some toy leaks that said that he's Ultraman, or at least that's what they're going with right now.
Yeah.
I think there's a possibility that maybe that all ties into Lex's experiments. Again, what if he created him?
Yeah.
What if maybe that's our Bizarro, or eventual Bizarro, but Ultraman? Maybe, Lex uses him as kind of a pawn to, do some evil things and blame it on Superman, and then have Superman fight this guy who comes in as tries to be kind of like Lex's version of a hero.
What's
that shot? That shot.
This one right here?
No, the lineup. Like, who's that?
This one?
Oh, it's the fighting. Yeah, sorry. I thought that was like a superhero charge, like in Civil War. I was like, hang on, I missed that shot. My God.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the next one.
It's one.
Okay, go ahead.
I cannot with you in that mug. It's amazing. I love it. Right. Two. Are we talking about that guy that looks like the White Walker from Game of Thrones?
Are we talking? There is a shot in the trailer, right, where it's like him fighting Superman in the baseball field, right?
Yeah, the dude in the big, he's got the black suit. That's kind of like almost again tying into Superman and Lois, kind of a cross between the like Doomsday containment suit and again kind of like almost like a tactical Superman,
because they show his
style
face.
Suit. No, so we don't see his face, and I know the theory is that it's just David Cornsweet playing an evil version of Superman under there.
They show someone's face.
So that's the Ultraman that we're talking about.
Right, and then oh my god, I've got to talk to you about that later. That shot there, Abyss is terrific.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second.
He looks good, and he's got the T-spheres
I love
too.
it. Right.
I think I know what you're talking about. Is the dude that with like the kind of weird looking face? That's Metamorpho, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did say he could be in it. Oh yeah. Come on. Ooh, real interesting.
Yeah. Let's talk about like these other heroes really quickly. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on that because I know we're almost 30 minutes in already. But we do have our first look at Mr. Terrific. Screw the people that are like, he looks too silly, he looks dumb. I was like,
he looks like he was ripped right off a comic page.
He literally looks exactly from the comics. Like it's becoming very
is insane.
The more I look at it, the more I'm like, how do they do that?
It looks really good. Yeah,
it looks like all one piece, but like his nose looks like his nose, like not a part of a mask. Like I'm not sure. My brain is not comprehending how that's placed on his face.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see if it connects when he talks or if it comes apart. It looks like it's going to come apart when he's painting the lips.
Yeah, it looks like it's like the chin piece is kind of a separate bit. Yeah.
It looks separate, right? It kind of looks like there's a bottom piece and then top piece and then his lips.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He painted it on in Arrow, right? Like he didn't have like a whole raised thing like this.
I think he had the he had like the domino mask, but the T, or I guess the extended portion of the T was painted on. I believe.
I think both versions. Like I know that's not a great adaptation of that character, but like I think he looked really good in Arrow. I think
I do too.
Suit-wise.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific is not a tough character to do design-wise. Like
no,
it's a very simple design, and as long as you get the elements correct, like he's gonna look good.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah, see, it's just the domino mask, and he paints the rest of the face. Yeah.
I'm excited to get like a proper like adaptation of the character, because I don't know like much about him. Like I know him from like some of the animated stuff, and then Arrow, which again I've heard is like not the greatest kind of take on that character as much as we like Curtis. Okay, I do want to really quickly, I want to bring up a couple of these shots really quick. We do have Mr. Terrific. Everyone's complaining, oh, he looks so stupid, he looks dumb. I'm like, I think that's the point. I think he's supposed to look a little silly. Like that's kind of Guy Gardner's thing, is he's kind of like the one everyone kind of makes fun of. So I have no issues with that.
Before.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
Guy Gardner, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the thing as well. Everyone's talking about how they look, but we're all under the assumption that these are the Maxwell Lord costumes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're too streamlined to be their unique hero costumes. I think everybody's gonna get an upgrade by the end of the movie. I almost said by the end of the season.
We're
so used to it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that Hawk Girl shot. We had like a brief.
I wonder if
there we go.
I wonder if he's trying to start his own like Justice League, and he sent like a lot of feelers, like the Flash has got one, and Batman's got one, and like Cyborg and everyone else, but like these are the people that have turned up because like the other ones are like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And then when actual heroes approach them, the answer will be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's kind of like you're right, like a proto Justice League almost, but it's what if the Justice League was controlled by a somewhat shady corporation, right?
The boys.
And I think maybe them seeing Superman as this independent hero, him on his own, he's got his own suit, he does his own thing, he doesn't answer to anybody. I think they're going to kind of realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't be a part of this very controlling team. If it's Maxwell Lord, like you guys said, I saw a logo for Stag Industries too. I don't know how that plays into it as well.
Right.
But yeah, I think by the end of the movie, they're gonna realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't allow this corporation to control us. We kind of want to do our own superhero thing, and maybe we see them go their separate ways, but have sort of a thing like, hey, we'll keep in contact. We might need to team up again in the future.
Yeah.
And that's where you bring them back in for Justice League stuff. And I think that's where I know James Gunn said that we're not using this to set up spin-offs, but I could totally see all of these characters at least showing up in other things. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they announced, if Hawkgirl's a popular character, a Hawkgirl and Hawkman show, or movie. And if they really wanted to like dive into, all the Thanagar stuff, which we don't really get to see a ton of, Guy Gardner could very easily show up in the Lanterns TV show. Mr. Terrific could show up in maybe something that's a little bit more street level. So
see,
I think,
as cool as that is, like my counterpoint to that would be playing Devil's Advocate, which is my favorite game. Is that for the most part, the people on the team would have started in that situation of being a solo hero and then have joined a team. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be that just Maxwell Lord just had a whole bunch of people running around his basement and thought, you know what, we need to do. So like there's that. So then like they would have already had that knowledge. And then like Guy Gardner is obviously a part of the Lantern Corps. So like he has a whole other team to be a part of, and his own section of space, which he should be monitoring, but apparently clearly is spending a little too much time at home. Not good.
I'm going to be curious, like in terms of like setting up the league, because I do think a lot of people have said they won't. I do think Hawkgirl will probably be part of the, like, whenever we do the Justice League. Like, to me, it seems very apparent that they're taking inspiration from the like DCAU, right? In
again,
that
Justice
lineup.
League animated series lineup.
Yeah, I was gonna say a good Wonder Woman substitute as well.
Right.
I mean,
if we've already got
look
Hawkgirl,
at that lineup.
We know John Stewart too.
Yeah, like we already know Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman is out there. We already got John Stewart. They recently
Flash is Wally West.
If that's a Wally West, a Hawkgirl, and the only one missing is Martian Manhunter, and that's probably the one I would opt out just because I don't want the like exact same lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But I've even said like, what if you sub in like Mr. Terrific in that lineup? Like that, it's not too bad of a lineup.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I just had like a thought that basically, what if like Barry didn't give up? Like he panicked when he saw George Clooney. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, no. We're gonna go one more time, everybody. You know what I mean? And then that's when like he disappears or whatever for a whole like length of time, and then comes back. Like we've already had Crisis or something. Do you mean like I know it was a Flashpoint, but what if like they're already saying like the Crisis, and then that's how we got Wally West, and then later on it's going to be Ezra Miller coming back as Barry.
I gotta stop you right there. I can't do it. I can't get more Ezra Miller.
The thing is though, as much as we're sitting here saying, "Oh, we don't want the DCEU to have happened," like James Gunn, especially when we're talking about Creature Commandos shortly, is very much cementing that like a whole bunch happened.
Yep.
Like a whole bunch of it, right? So yeah, when we get to it, this is what I'm saying. So like, I would again think like obviously we're gonna be getting like not Batfleck, we've got a different Superman. We may get a different Wonder Woman. I'm like 50-50 on that myself.
Yeah.
But her Themyscira is different alone. Do you mean just from the fact that we've got Cersei being such a main character? Yeah. So I would say that like it's there and it's a full part of everything, and it's not the new stuff that we're getting is different, but not too different because it's still a very core component of its genesis.
Yeah, I mean, two ways it can go. Either, like you said, this whole new universe is just a Flashpoint ramification, right? Things are somewhat similar because we are still on the same Earth. However, things are completely different because Barry screwed up the timeline like he always does and erased himself from existence, and that's why Wally West is the main Flash. The other option as well that I could definitely see them going with is just saying, hey, the DCEU was a completely different Earth. We're on a completely different Earth here now in the DCU. It is an Earth in which similar things happened, but not everything was the same. So that's why we're getting all of these new stories. That's why things look a little bit different and feel a little bit different, tonally and that sort of thing. I think I'd be happy with either one. The fact that they are making such a big deal, like Darth said, in Creature Commandos, that things in the Suicide Squad happened and things in Peacemaker happened. I'm more willing to place my bets on the fact that this is a post-Flashpoint DCEU, and I think there'd be a little bit more easy for fans to understand and kind of come to terms with as well. It's like, okay, timeline changed, things are different, great, that's all I gotta know. Versus, okay, this is a different Earth, some things are the same, some things aren't the same, but we still have certain actors that are the same, and they remember things from this old Earth that was not necessarily this Earth, and I think that could get a little confusing and cross a lot of different wires.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, and like, again, I have not loved how they've gone about this. Like, I think bringing anything over from the DCEU was a mistake, but I think one of the best comparisons. I think one of the best comparisons I heard someone like describe it the other day was almost like a Star Wars Legends scenario where it's like these books are not canon, but you can take elements from those stories and put them into canon, kind of thing. And I think that's kind of what they're going to do. I think it's going to be like, hey, we're taking what we want, but we're not going to acknowledge anything from the past universe. Like, again,
it's not canon until we say it is, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't think there's going to be a thing where James Gunn's like, hey guys, okay, so this is post Flashpoint and we're doing this and this and that. Like, I don't think he's going to mention that at all. I think it's just going to be like, here's this new thing, shut up, watch it.
I'd love a whiteboard explainer like they did on Flash. Like, just get some smart character to realize things are different. Like, imagine it was like a Lex. Imagine it was a Lex thing.
Well, there had to be a psycho pirate or something.
Yeah. Like, just eventually, like, it doesn't have to be right away, but eventually somebody's like, okay, we're in the wrong universe, or we're in the wrong timeline, or our timeline has changed, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's like in 10 years you could like retroactively do it in like a crisis or whatever.
I think in 10 years, not many people are going to remember or care to remember the old universe at that point.
Okay. We do have to move on here because we have two shows we still want to talk about. But my last thing I want to talk about from the trailer.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, your last thing. My thing's suited. Go on, yours first.
Okay, cool. I do just want to quickly talk about, and we saw some photos of this, but the Clark Kent look comparatively to his Superman look. And I love how, like, he looks like a different man. Like, this looks like a different man. I think that's, contrast to Superman and Lois, where they didn't look like different people and they were able to, like, convince us that they're two different people just through Tyler's acting. I think it's a really fun choice to be like, no, that's ridiculous. Just make them look like two different people. If I saw this man on the street, I wouldn't be like, is that Superman? That doesn't look like Superman. All right, it must not be him. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's very believable. And not that I needed that. I didn't need them to do that because I can just, accept that that's a silly thing they do in the comics and move on. But as far as, like, doing a new take on a character, I think that's really fun. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I love the visual storytelling, too, is Clark Kent is, again, that kind of clumsy, silly reporter, whatever. His suit is like 2 sizes too big for him. His glasses are too big. He doesn't own a hairbrush. And he slouches. He's, very klutzy and everything like that. Whereas Superman, he stands tall. His hair is nicely groomed, I guess. He's got the little curly Q. He looks all fancy and everything like that. I think that, again, that visual storytelling showing the difference between, and then I guess this also brings up the other aspect too. It's like there's 3 different characters, right? There's the personal life Clark Kent that he shows off to his family, which we see right here, where he's kind of a cross between Daily Planet Clark Kent and Superman. Superman is his, I guess, idealized version, what he wants the world to see him as and present himself as. And then the Clark Kent that he goes to work as, again, with that too big suit and the goofy glasses and things like that. That's his disguise. That is his mask. That is what he wants the general public to see him as so that they don't suspect him as Superman. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Darth, what was your kind of like final thoughts that you had?
Just with the pictures that you've shown, right? They have to show, like, explain the hair, right? Like, because
how does he do it? Yeah,
he's got the big It Crowd mop, right? And then, like, he's got to have a bag of like Weller products, like, or something. Do you know what I mean? That he could just pick on the way out of the door. Do you know what I mean?
No, it'd be funny if he just he just spins around a lot and it messes up his hair, and that's why his hair is like that.
That's hilarious.
It's like a Curtis thing on Arrow, where it's like, how did you have time to do all your hair in like the 30 seconds they took the suit up? Like, how did you do that?
I will say as well, it's interesting that we got Superman like crossing over with Wolverine when it's usually Batman. Do you know what I mean? Like with Dark Claw, and instead we got Super Claw.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's exciting. Again, I'm gonna further cover this until the release of the movie. I cannot wait for this movie. I want it immediately. The fact we gotta wait 7 more months kills me.
Yeah, over half a year. Yeah.
Okay, we do have to hop into our first show here. We must, or we will be here all night.
It's all related. It's DCU.
Well, actually, no. I was gonna hop into Skeleton Crew.
Oh,
you're
just trolling me with the Commandos logo that was just sitting there the whole time.
Yep. Skeleton Crew. No, is this episode 4? Episode 4 of Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Our halfway point. I think we have 8 this season, so our halfway point.
Yeah.
Darth, let's start with you. Have you seen the latest episode, Darth?
I have, yes, and it was very, very good.
Okay, let's start with you. What was your overall kind of thoughts, feelings?
I loved it, honestly. I knew that Smee had to be the answer to where Atten was, because he was there. Do you mean we don't know how long ago his ship landed, but him and his captain were there, and it's really interesting to see the layout of these planets. And I'm even more dead set on the idea that we spoke about last week, and we'll get into it, right? But really, really fun, interesting to see how they fed us with the idea that the kids were in charge, or the kids were fighting adults. and then it was just no, we just respect our children, like we see them for the strength that they have, and we utilize them. Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And Neil, man, MVP of the episode, like nearly the whole show. So far, that's Smee. I gotta love Smee. But Neil, man, you little smoothie. Oh my god. Yeah. I can't wait to get into it. What about you two?
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, no, I was talking about Taz at the start. Is that and I don't know if like someone else mentioned it last week and I just didn't remember, but like I did call it last week, or like I thought it last week. I forgot to mention it, where he kept saying at Aden. I can't say I've ever heard of an at Aden, and they kept saying those exact words. I was like, no, I can't say. He literally cannot say at Aden, but he does know the answers deep in there. And again, I wish I would have because again, I felt very apparent. Like I bet we were all kind of thinking it these last couple episodes, but I'm not sure if we actually said it or spoke it into words last week. But genuinely, I thought that scene was kind of terrifying when that switch happened. Be like, you rascal kids. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, stay away from them.
Careful what you wish for, right?
Right. And then I did like the kind of callback to the first episode where the only way to kind of stop him from that was that little droid override protocol thing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very cool.
Always good for the off switch. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been around some trouble.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so to get fully into it, right? One, before we do quickly, the star map that was shown, I believe episode 3.
Yeah.
With the owl lady.
Yeah.
Right. Has there been anybody that's translated that, right? Because Arabesh, there's a dictionary for it.
Yeah.
Right. So if anybody takes the time, they can literally sit there and decipher the thing. So has anybody done that? Does anyone know?
I have
not seen anything yet.
No.
Right,
That'd be interesting though. I bet there's some YouTuber out there.
But beside that, right? So last week I brought up the possibility of the whole fembot in the tower, right? And that's really looking like even more like it, and a little bit with a whole Fallout vibe. You know what I mean? In the each of the planets seem to be set up in the same scenario, but with different things happening on it. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love that idea. I didn't even think about that. That's Go ahead.
And then
go ahead.
It all seems a bit too symmetrical and neat. So I feel like there has to be computer design in it. You know what I mean? And maybe that it's all some sort of a part of a bigger thing. Do you mean? Because we still don't know what the purpose is yet. And is it their their planetary sole purpose? Because they haven't been in contact with the other planets, like Akalan and all of that. We don't know what's happening over there. We just know that this one is battle-ridden, So I'm just fascinated by how it's all working, and it's just screaming droids at me. It's just screaming droids.
Yeah. I loved the there's that story element of being well, you can come with us and you can escape all this violence. You can have a normal life. And it's no, this is kind of what I know. I have to kind of I have this. Yeah, it sucks, but this is my home, and this is kind of that thing. I feel like that's kind of a a deeper conversation about how our brains are wired, and how sometimes it's hard to move past what we know and what's safe. What feels safe is staying there and fighting for the people, and her being I will remember your lessons and your teachings when I climb the ranks, and I can make a difference here. I thought it was really I thought it was really interesting, this lesson about kind of anti-war, a really good one in a franchise called Star Wars, right? So I thought that was really fun. Yeah, no, I loved this other planet. I thought it was really fun getting to I get it. I bet a lot of Star Wars gets to like explore other planets, but that was really cool. Just getting to be like, yeah, this is other planet with other culture, and like you mentioned already, like this idea, like no, we actually prop up our kids. Like we kind of honor them from a very young age of like not treating them like children, getting them battle ready as soon as we possibly can, and using their potential. I thought was really fun.
Do you know how much I hate my brain? Right.
Oh no.
So there we are at the start of episode 4. It's like a minute in, not even. We've had the recap, and then they're coming into the planet, right? And there's no nebula gas, right? So what do? But kick up a stink and go, hang on a minute. That's not right. There's supposed to be nebula gas on this planet. They're supposed to be at home right now. So then I went back 2 episodes, right? And again, a minute in, I didn't give it a chance. I went back a whole 2 episodes, and I was like, right, there's nebula gas there. There's this. And then I went back to episode 2 to see where the parents were to make sure they didn't talk about shutting down, no communications, this was nebula gas, anything. I was like, no, that's not the planet. That's not, a full 30 seconds later, we're not on the home. I was like, God damn it. Yeah. I could have saved myself so much time by just waiting.
No, but I loved it, and I think, Darth, you brought up such an interesting concept. Is they basically are doing the Fallout vaults. So if we have the planet that they are from is at Aden, but you have all of these other planets, I guess, assumedly very close by, like maybe in some sort of planetary cluster. So either some very powerful force being or some entity, some corporation, something within the galaxy has created this experiment. And they created a bunch of planets very similarly named, cut them off from the rest of the galaxy, and said, okay, this is the planet where everything is going to be on rails. It's going to be the perfect kind of suburban society where, you teach the kids from a very young age to grow up and become a part of the greater and larger machine and try to see how long that can keep moving. Okay. Other planet, let's just throw it into war and turmoil and let them fend for themselves and see what goes on. I'm assuming now the rest of the season is going to be them planet hopping to what they think is going to be at Aden, and then another planet that is similar but has some sort of little change to it. So it's like it's like Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 4. Okay. Next at Aden planet could be like one that's completely underwater or something. I don't know.
But what I love about that is that it's 50-50, right? One, like, either that had to be asked for by the people that were utilizing the machines, or like it's like a nefarious thing where they just, like Predator, just kidnapped a whole bunch of people and put them on an alien planet and said, right, you cut off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting the setup for that, because if it was asked for, because again, like the way the Republic set up is that you get asked to be in the Republic, or you can ask to be in the Republic, and then you're in the Republic. And there are other planets that choose autonomy. They're not just like full separatist things, but they're just minding their own business, not like trying to start a whole movement. You know what I mean? So, like, the fact that there were like potentially a whole bunch of people that either took refuge on a system of planets or were from that system of planets and then decided to separate themselves off from the galaxy is fascinating, because like there is constantly war in Star Wars and there are always people that are just trying to not be a part of it. There are always people that are just trying to live their lives and just exist in the galaxy. You know what I mean? But there's always strife.
I'm having a hard time deciding with myself if I think that it is Force user related or if it's just, again, some separate entity that has created this massive planetary experiment. Going back to a concept that we brought up last week was Clone Wars and Mortis, and the fact that the planets of Mortis was kept out of, the rest of the galaxy. It was off on its own little thing. I actually very recently just went back and watched the Mortis arc, probably the best Clone Wars arc of all time. But I think it would be very interesting if this was maybe some sort of ancient experiment.
Oh, is it? I thought it was me.
I'm
so glad it's not me. I thought it was me.
I thought it was me too.
Okay.
I don't think it's ever happened like it has before.
No, right? This is a trip. This is a new experience for everybody. Okay. The idea that this experiment is fascinating, and I think KB, the girl with the Jolly LaForge visor.
Yes.
Like if she's obviously the smart one of the group, and if she calmed down for a second, and she used the coordinates to map out the planets and saw the sequence that they are in, I think that they could easily find their way home for like math. Sorry, got a bit zealous with the button. Yeah. No, so yeah, like with math, do you know what I mean? Because, like, say for example, it's in a semicircle or a cluster, or it's like our solar system. Do you know what I mean? Like all of the app planets are in some kind of dance or display with each other. Like you could reasonably plot out where it would make sense for that other planet to be. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it just really narrows it down. But at the moment they're in panic stations and they're children. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But if Jod, whatever his name is, Joffrey.
Jod Nabwood, I think. Something like that.
Like if he pulled his head out of his ass and stopped trying to nick the treasure for 2 minutes, like he could work out how to get there. Do you know what I mean? Because they are at the place now where they're going to get all of the information that they need, like bar, obviously, Smee, obviously,
Right. I really enjoyed Jaw. I think he's easily my favorite character so far, which again is not which is obviously not a thing on the kids, because the kids are really, but like I feel like he's been the most developed for me, and I've really he's already kind of going down the arc that we've kind of he's gone through that like Last of Us arc where it's like, oh, these kids, I don't know, and he's slowly kind of becoming that father figure for them, which I think has been fun. I like that scene where he buys them back from the group and being and they're all kind of like, oh, thank you for saving us. I thought that was such a fun scene.
That was adorable, especially when he's like, how many hides can I get in for these?
Yeah, no, he's been a lot of fun, and again, I'm waiting to learn more about him, because he's still technically a mystery to us. We don't know really who he is, what his past is like. Obviously, I know you kind of had an issue with his Force stuff last week, but I'm excited to see how much of the Go ahead.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by it as well. I sit there and say I'm more frustrated that they're trying to push that just anybody can just develop telekinesis and start wielding listening to the Force just because they concentrate hard enough. Right. Bitch, are you serious? I've been here for 36 years. I've been out here for at least 20 of them trying to use the Force. Are you telling me I'm not doing it hard enough? Go fuck yourself. I could be a Jedi right now, but no, it don't work that way. Okay, that's not how it works. You have to be a special wizard kind of guy, and that's fine. We've all accepted it. But anyway, so yeah, I like the idea that if he is a Force user, that if there is something hidden away and potentially forcibly so say for example, the great purpose is to keep something locked away, right? If it is something that is malevolent in force or in nature, that immortals or whatever, anything like that, a whole group of people could have took it upon themselves to lock an immortal being away. You know what I mean? Like the symbiotes, and then the purpose is that you learn the purpose as you get older, when you're old enough to understand it. And I would say that maybe their literature leads to that as well, because if their whole thing is to, when they're older, is to quote unquote put away childish things and be an adult, like, why give them actual history and pass it off as a fantasy book? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a weird idea, you know. And to give them such fantastical ideas only to squash them in the next step.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because it's like they clearly know about Jedis, they know about the Force, but like they're very like, you can't be a Jedi. That's silly. Like, you know, we don't do that here. We don't have violence here. You don't need Jedis here. But it's like, yeah, it does kind of feel like they're kind of like squatting that from day one, being like, no, you have to go work. You have to go, you know, do A, B, C, and D. And again, I still like. Again, I don't know all the lore of Star Wars and stuff like that. Like, you guys were mentioning some other villains and stuff, but I was like, to me, I do think it is drone focused. Like, I do think droid focused. I'm sorry, I do think it's like, I do think all this has kind of been like set up by AI or set up by, you know, whatever, and they've just been kind of running this like simulation for like 100 years or whatever it's going to be. Like, that's still, I think, my theory. But again, I'm curious, like.
In Star Wars, like in say like Knights of the Republic, they had droids, ancient droids that still had power for their purpose, like 20,000 years ago, or some of them even that long ago, and then would still be functioning like they go into like a deep sleep and then get woken back up. So it's entirely possible, because they're talking about the old Republic, right? And like there's a span of around like 100,000 years, if I'm not mistaken, of like the whole thing, you know. So yeah, there is a lot of time. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Sorry, I was reading Taya's comment.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
I will say, I think one of my favorite scenes of the episode was with, and hold up, let me bring up my cast list because I still don't got the names down. Fryn. I thought Fryn's kind of like midlife crisis moment where she doesn't know how to lead them, or like she doesn't know. Fern, yeah, I'm sorry, Fern. And like he's like, oh no, like you got this, you can do this. It's like, no, that's not helping. You're not helping me. You're saying words and then hoping I'm going to fix the problem. Like, stop that. That's not going to help me. I feel like that was my first moment with her. I'm like, okay, I'm really starting to like her character. I think her character is finally starting to find her stride, or giving her. Not that I ever disliked her. I think she was very fun, but I was like, oh, they're finally giving us some meat on those bones that we can kind of
because she will grow, because he was right. Do you know what I mean? He was giving supportive encouragement, and then she bit his head off and then went, oh wait, so like literally what he said happened. Do you know what I mean? He weren't wrong. He just like and what is hilarious is that Jod knew that was going to happen, which is exactly why he was just like, good luck.
Yeah.
Throwing you straight to the wolves. Good luck, dude.
Yeah, I thought his scene was also really funny when he's trying to like lead the ship. He's like, no, we're in charge here. Sit down. And he's like, okay, buddy, good luck with that, I guess. Like, he's so amused that they think that they're in charge. That I think is really funny. And again, I think
sorry, go on.
Go ahead. I'm basically
I wanted to question your so basically you sat there and said about how you think that the kids are growing on him, and while I think that might be true, I question because we've seen like how desperate a man he is and lengths that he will go to, right?
Yeah.
Like the second their backs were turned, he was sitting there stealing their Republic credits, right?
Yeah.
So how much weight of his caring is going to be outweighed by, oh my god, shiny. You know?
Yeah, I think, like, again, this isn't an unknown story. We've seen this in story templates time and time again. I think, again, I don't know how much they're going to fall into the status quo of it all, but, you know, the, like, story template is like, oh, he cares for these kids. Oh, no, he cares money better, and he makes the bad decision. And then they realize, oh, no, I fucked up. I actually care about the kids more. And then they kind of have to go back and, you know, fix the problem or whatever. Again, I hope that doesn't go that direction, because I think, like, they've been smarter than that so far.
I agree that that's the way that it would normally go, right?
Yeah.
So, again, if we're looking at that, right, and we look at the outcome, there's three chances of where that's going to go, right? Say, for example, the quote-unquote purpose or the situation is the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
So they get home. Either it's going to be that they just run off again with Joel on the ship and take off, or they all live together, Joel on the planet as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just moves in with Neil, you know, or the, like, what he wants to happen so that he becomes, instead of a pirate, becomes a Han Solo type, and that he gets the kids home. So, like, what he said happens, you know what I mean, earlier, that he gets the kids home, maybe for a bit of treasure, and everybody parts on good terms, but the situation is fixed. They are wiser for being made aware of everything, and then they're going to be running it themselves. He goes off, and then he's not going to tell everyone where his cash cow is, because he could just come back and say, hey, I ran out of credits. Can I borrow some more? You know?
Yeah.
So he's going to be telling everybody where that is, so they will, like, remain hidden. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, those are good points. And, like kind of got me thinking of, like, where can the show possibly end if we are getting a second season, right? Like, like, if this is a one-off thing, there's ways you can end the story. But I'm thinking, like, because I think the most satisfying way the show ends is that we kind of end it where, like, oh, they're a team now and they're traveling through the galaxy together and blah, blah, blah.
I would cry for the sheer disgust. There's such a lack of parenting, is what I'm trying to say. Like, that is so bad parenting. You cannot just go, oh, a stranger you met on your travels just happened to bring you home, is he? Oh, well, fly off again. Carry on.
No, 100%. I was just about to get to that, because, again, that's a satisfying thing. You're just like, no, they have parents and they have a home, and it's like, you, like, realistically, that would be almost a terrible way to end the show, because it's like, no, like, this strange man just kidnapped 4 children from their parents, and then it kind of turned to me like, what if the planet gets destroyed or something, and they don't have parents to go back to, which is why they travel together or whatever, which is a dark way to end the show. I don't know because, again, this is a show that's not necessarily, it's not that it's a kid show, but it is, I think, more targeted towards families. So would you kill, like, billions of people on this quote unquote kid show? Probably not.
I just had an idea. Option 4. You say it's getting a season 2, right?
I hope so.
What none of us have considered, right, is that basically what has happened is a little treasure piece from the One Piece has grown legs and ran through the town and said to everybody, hey, I do exist. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, they have shown a myth, a legend, gone in, like, into the wind, that it is real. There is, like, you know how fast rumors spread, right? Like, it's going to be wildfire all over the galaxy, and everybody's going to be looking for that place now. So what if, like,
everybody goes?
Then the objective is either to keep the planet hidden in a certain way, like more so than it is now, or that they have to relocate to another hidden system.
Yeah.
Because everybody's found it, Jimmy, because someone left the fridge open.
No, that's something I never even considered, is this, like, what if season 2 is about, like, the family also on the ship or whatever, or like the whole planet evacuating or going somewhere else, and that's why we're going on our next adventure. That's why we can justify these kids going on a spaceship with this 40-year-old man that they've never met, kind of thing, where it's like, okay, they're all kind of going and they go on these adventures, and the parents are kind of just like not on like the main adventure of the week in season 2, 3, whatever, but they're kind of around, right? Like they're still kind of part of their lives and stuff like that. Like that's more justifiable, I think.
I'm really interested to see as well, which another thing I haven't really thought of until this point, is that some people thrive in the environment that they've been subjected to. Like Fern's mother seems to love being an office Karen, right? But then what's to say that other people won't? You know what I mean? You know, like in the Simpsons episode where their uniform runs and it's all the color explodes. Like, I want to see some goddamn paint parties when everything comes to a head, and I want to see all the gray go. I want to see what kind of culture they bring to the Star Wars universe when they're allowed to express themselves, as opposed to like forcefully shutting everything down in the service of something else, because that's not them. Right. That's not like fair to them or who they are, obviously, because it's for a purpose. It's not them, you know. So yeah, I'm very curious.
Yeah, and I again, we talked about this last week, but also I'm excited to see, I think, sort of not the ending of their arc, but kind of the current arc, I think, kind of coming full circle with Wim and Neil, because I feel like they want different things right now, right? Like, especially this week, we saw, like, Neil, he's like, no, we're going home. Like, our planet is safe. No, we can go back where there isn't adventure, there isn't violence. And Wim's having the time of his life. Like, this is what he's always wanted. He's wanted to explore the universe. He wanted to do all this. He would do this forever. And I think that's going to come to a head. Well, we have 4 more. So I would say in 2 to 3 episodes, I think that's really going to come to a head of what do they actually want. Like, he says they're trying to get home, but is that what he wants to do? Like, is there a scenario where I don't want this to happen, but like, I just want to put it out there that he, like, I don't know, sabotages something, like he does something to like kind of stop them from going home or something. He burns a map.
In my head, Wim, I believe it is. In my head, like when he says go home, it's not permanent. In my head, I feel like he feels like once that door is open, that it's open. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like we can discuss it later, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
100%. Like I think like there's probably a funness in getting home, because that's the current adventure. Is we get to go home. Like that's the mission, is getting home. And I think the closer that you're going to get, he's going to be like, oh, well, actually, I don't want to go home. I like because again, they can't leave. Like once they get, because but that's also a thing we talked about last week, is like what happens when they go back to their planet? Will they accept them? Because there's a whole thing. No one can come in or out. What happens when someone does get in and then someone gets out and then tries to come back in? Like that, to me, is going to be an interesting thing to see, especially with an outsider, someone who's we think has never been there before. So,
what's interesting as well is there are several different planets with many different planets and many different reasons, where the occupants of said planet cannot see the stars, right? Whether that be the smog of industrialization or the nebula gas that is currently surrounding Aten, right? There are reasons for it. So my thing is like, I feel like the dad isn't going to be taking this lying down. And I think Wim's dad and Fern's dad are going to have the same kind of team up, shorter, but I feel they're going to have the same kind of dynamic, but I feel like Wim's father might be a little bit more subservient or subordinate because he understands authority and she actually is ahead of him in the organization.
The ranks,
these guys are just kids, Jimmy, so they can argue over ranks or whatever. Right. So I feel like that dynamic will be there, but like grown up a little bit maybe. And I feel like someone other than the kids has to see the stars. They have to see the stakes, right? Because you can fight for something as much as you want when you're not seeing it. Do you know what I mean? And you're fighting on faith and mystery alone, because we're talking potentially thousands of years and generations upon generations of people that hasn't seen the stars or are known to explore. Do you know what I mean? Just heard about it in fairy tales, you know? So
I just realized this is kind of just the plot of Moana. Just
interesting.
Isn't it kind of just like, oh, we don't sail, but one did, and now he has to inspire the whole tribe to get back on the whatever. I feel like, But no, I'm really enjoying the show. I'm enjoying it a lot more. Again, like Star Wars for me is always very like, I'll watch it, but like, I can't guarantee I'm going to be that into it, and I'm really enjoying this one. It might be one of my favorite Star Wars things, to be honest, because it's like, listen, I mean, the only Star Wars things I've ever like covered was The Acolyte, which we did in this show. And not that I disliked The Acolyte, I just wasn't as into it as I kind of wanted to be. And I feel like this is the one I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm vibing with this a good bit. I wanted to kind of wait for. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, please. I interrupted you, please.
I was gonna start to wrap it up, so go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna say that I am feeling the loss of our villain, Husk or whatever his name is, the wolf.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here and the whole time I'm feeling that Jod's kind of the bad guy, obviously because of where he started and just because of the position he's in. It doesn't make him a friend, right? It doesn't make him a good person. It doesn't make him a hero. It makes him desperate and just trying to survive, because he feels like once I found the prize, I can say, I told you so. Now make me captain again, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's where he's going with it, or at least to be rich and on the run enough to get back up to fight them, right? So as much as I kind of feel like he's a double cross issue, I've still been kind of waiting for a main villain, you know?
Sure.
And because Husk still doesn't feel like it's it. Especially for the last couple of episodes. It kind of feels like as much as they would have a fire under their belly to get home, I feel like they need a fire
More
behind
stakes.
them to push them there. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Husk or whatever his name is. But I don't feel it enough. You know what I mean?
There's not like
still waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, there's not really there isn't really a sense of a threat or like a danger with this story, and it kind of feels like we're just kind of cruising across the galaxy, which is fun. I'm enjoying that, but I do agree with you. And I will say, it's like, and I have to bring this up with almost every Disney Plus show we do, there is always that concern. There's always that Disney Plus concern, and we're like, all right, we have 4 more episodes, 30 minutes each usually. That's about 2 hours left, right? 2 hours is not a lot. There's a lot of story left to do. And 2 hours is not a lot of time to do it. And again, if this is a multi-season show, okay, save for season 2 and 3 and 4. That's fine for me. But let's be honest, I think especially after The Acolyte, there is a fear of like, yeah, but what if they don't get to do that, right? Like, what if they don't get that opportunity? Tez, we talked about a lot of stuff while you're out. I can't even begin to recap you. But we're kind of like heading towards the end of our conversation. I mean, both of you, do you guys have kind of like closing thoughts or things that we maybe, again, I don't know if you heard what we were talking about or anything, but like, is there anything you want to mention still?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall Skeleton Crew has been a lot more fun and enjoyable than I thought going into it. I'm so glad that I'm enjoying it as much as I am. I'm excited for it week to week. Again, I kind of have a smile on my face the entire time. I think it's kind of just a fun, turn your brain off sort of show, but it also does have those underlying big lore implications. I think it's something that could certainly go on for multiple seasons. I would hope that it goes on for, another season at least, or so. I'm excited to see where they take the show in the final or in the back half of the season. We've got an episode that just dropped tonight. I'm excited to go watch that once we're done here.
Will it be tomorrow?
Or no, you're right.
Today's Monday.
It's Monday. It's not Tuesday. No, you're right. No, you're totally right. Okay, never mind. I don't have to worry about that. I'm excited to go watch the episode tomorrow.
Yeah.
Obviously I got sucked into a Mortis time loop because I talked about them too much. But yeah, I'm excited. I think again, this mystery is something that I was not expecting going into the show. This was another series that I didn't do a ton of prior research on before it came out. I avoided trailers, I avoided interviews, that sort of thing. I just wanted to be surprised and enjoy it for what it was when it came out. And again, I'm so glad that I did that because I'm having a ton of fun with it regardless of what the overall general view is. And I think for the most part, people are really enjoying the show. I think they're really connecting with the characters. I think they're really, again, same thing that we kind of talked about in that first breakdown stream, was that we can kind of relate to it, and it's a very relatable Star Wars in a way that I don't think it has been in quite some time.
I agree, and I think, like, again, I like to associate shows with what's going on in the real world, and it's like, I think this has been a really cool, like, Christmassy kind of show. Well, obviously, nothing related to holiday or whatever, but I saw an ad, I think it was on Disney Plus yesterday, I was watching What If, and like they were like, like this holiday season, blah blah blah, and it was like, it does kind of feel like it's that like childhood charm that I think you kind of associate with Christmas. This
it is
this wonder, this like the pure. I kind of think that's so fun. It's a show that feels like it was written from the perspective of a child, right? And like what they imagine to be this pirate adventure. I think it's just so much fun. It's such a fun show.
Yeah, it is.
Darth,
I think that's the best way to describe it. Is just it is fun.
It's a fun show, and I think that's important. Darth, do you have any kind of like closing thoughts? I know we have one more show to talk about here, but
I'm not sure if we discussed it the week before, but just like bless you. The idea of the bureaucracy and the red tape on Atten, and the way that Fern's mother like speaks to the robot was almost like quite droid-like and very you know what I'm trying to say? Like it kind of felt like the superior that we're waiting for is a robot, like a droid. I swear to God, I also, Taz, I'm dying to know.
Yeah.
We discussed it a little bit, like when your PC crashed, but without the benefit of the episodes to come, where we stand in the middle of it,
right?
Where do you think that the show will end with the guys particularly, and Jod and everything else? Like, where do you think they will land?
I'm thinking that we're going to end off with kind of a meet the Wizard of Oz sort of thing, is kind of get behind the curtain and see really who has been controlling everything the whole time. And like,
I like that.
I think maybe we'll get some sort of cliffhanger is like, okay, this is why Atten was off the maps, completely disconnected from everything else. This is who is in charge and who has been keeping you guys kind of captive on this planet for so long, and who did not want you to see the rest of the galaxy, and then set up for what we could see in a season 2. I think with Jude Law's character, I think he's going to, again, kind of come into his own, as I think he really has been, as I think he's kind of taking a liking to these kids and kind of seeing something that maybe he didn't get to experience himself. Is he's lived this whole life as, you know, a space pirate, and he sees these kids who are full of wonder and inexperience and just, I guess, innocence in a galaxy that does not take kindly to that sort of thing. And I think through their adventures, he's going to really realize, like, hey, I have all of this life experience. These kids have none of it, but they have potential. And I think he's going to really, again, kind of adopt them as his new crew.
So that was two answers. So like, you say one was, you think on Atten, Twitch behind the curtain and then freeze frame, and then So do you think that like they're gonna by the end of the end of the season they're gonna be like, right, we are a crew, we are amazing, and
I
then
think
they're gonna be on planet and then freeze frame to next season?
Yeah, pretty much. Is I think that the remaining episodes are going to be them developing that relationship further. I think the layout again is going to be going to different @Aden spin-offs. Like we'll go to something Obi-Wan in @Anakin.
See, I do like that idea. I do really like that idea because there is a potential that the other apps don't know about the others. Do you know what I mean? That they could be going through the exact same things. The idea that they are going to go planet hopping to go, hey, you're living in a bubble, everybody. Watch out. There's a bad droid up there just ruining some shit.
I think the other interesting idea of that too is that on the planet that they went to in this previous episode is they knew that Aden was kind of like a myth that didn't exist, whatever. Is what if all of these other planets are aware of their fellow planets? But again, Aden has always been this kind of myth, like, okay, does it really exist? What goes on there? Who comes from there? That sort of thing. I think that is going to be the takeaway from it, is that, again, they've grown up on this planet that has been shrouded in mystery and has been, again, separated from the entire galaxy for its existence.
See, the thing is though, at Atlanta, wherever they were this time, was one of those planets, and the only reason it wasn't was through chance and violence.
Right.
Yeah.
So the only reason that they didn't know about it was through generations of just everybody being focused on fighting.
Yeah. I guess that also kind of brings up an interesting point too. I know we discussed earlier, and Darth, you brought up the idea that they were all vaults, and I kind of piggybacked on that, saying like, okay, they're all experimented on. It's like, okay, what if we took this planet and they did this on this planet and we did this on this planet? What if they all started off like at Aden, and then they were just given free reign to run how they would like? And Aden is the only planet that stuck to the program, and that's why it is the way it is and why it's thriving the way that it is, while these other societies completely collapsed without that structure. And maybe that's the experiment there, is like, hey, we need some sort of structure to society, or we're going to end up like these other planets. Where
maybe they all had it, and then every other planet rose up because they couldn't take the control. Right?
Maybe I think that's
because it takes a certain type of person to subjugate yourselves in such a manner to devoid yourselves of any joy, any kind of emotion that doesn't help the program or the whatever, the purpose. So maybe all the other planets just were like, no. Like, we'll stay hidden, but we're not doing this shit.
I think that'd be so interesting, because then that's a story about like free will versus like democracy, where it's like you can have free will and you're gonna have war and strife and fighting and death, or you could give your control to us and you won't die and you won't do it, but you also won't have a choice of how you live your life. Like, that is so fascinating. I feel like you could have some really, especially like from the perspective, I think that's going to be the joy of the show, is like I want these really kind of deep ideas from the perspective of like 8-year-olds, and just being like, whoa, okay, like, like how do they process these really adult issues that we have not even like fully processed, right?
It's maybe like the meaning of life in the galaxy. Like, what do you do? I think, going off of what you said is, would you like to live a life that is set out for you from the moment you're born, that you have this set path? Do you stick on that path because that's the easy road, and that's the road that is going to be stable and be there? Or do you choose to veer off the beaten path and go on and do something completely outlandish with your life? Do you go be a space pirate? Do you try to go become a Jedi? Do you go become a smuggler or side with the Republic?
Stop a war.
Right. I think that's what they're going to ultimately learn as the lesson. Like, hey, we could stay on this planet and just, be comfortable where we're at. But I think it's also kind of the become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
And the idea of them challenging, like, because both the girl this week and Fern were both very quick to step up and claim and take the idea of being a leader and like trying to step into that mantle. But each one of them needs to grow as a person to realize that it's more than what it seems. Do you know what I mean? And just because you've seen somebody do it before you, it doesn't mean that that's the way it's done.
Right. I think that brings up an interesting point too. Is we did see Fern this week, like she was like kind of broke down a little bit. Was like, I can't do this. Showing that there's a lot more to being the captain than just saying, "I'm the captain now."
Yeah. I think that was my favorite scene of the episode. We were kind of talking about that a little bit earlier, but I felt like that was the first really bit of like real character work for these kids.
Big
I think
character
are really
development.
Them. Yeah. I do feel like we have to move on. Let me read this comment really quickly.
Move on before Mortis takes my computer again.
This is what is expected of you. Can't become developing the Force first. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I didn't really get that, but I agree. Okay. Our next. Okay, we have to get to Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
What is it? Episode 4 of Creature Commandos. I did talk about this.
The Weasel episode.
Also, I saw the GI Robot episode. Wow. Oh my God. Thank you for not ruining that. Oh my God. I love you both. That was amazing. Oh, wow. I called it. Before he went in that room, I goddamn called it. I was like, this is going too well. This is going
something a Nazi would
well.
say.
Yeah, these are goddamn Nazis. I know it. And then, oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. The Weasel episode. Oh, dude. Oh, because like he got a bad rap in the Suicide Squad. He really did. Like, I know he survived, but dude suffered, and it just seems par for the course, man. And I feel like it's a week of vindication for him, but in like the worst possible way, Yeah, no. Nobody's ever gonna know.
No. Like, he can't, defend for himself.
Say anything, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. No, I think, to me, this was my favorite episode so far, I would say. I feel like this is, kind of James Gunn's work being like, oh, yeah, okay, that's what he can accomplish in terms of how he writes his characters and how it pulls on his heartstrings and stuff like that. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm starting to get it a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Taz. I'm sorry.
No. It just brought up an idea that I had, or something that I had seen. I didn't watch this video. I have no idea what it was titled. I don't really even know what it was about. All I saw was a Creature Commandos thumbnail that got the gears turning. So you'd said that Weasel can't really say he's innocent, that sort of thing. We'll go all into that in a moment. But
I got ideas too. So
yeah, there's a theory that. Yeah, it seemed like all the kids died, but what if the lawyer is one of those kids that survived, and that's why she's so hell-bent on proving his innocence?
Right.
Oh, yeah, no,
I think that's a cool theory.
Because I didn't think it happened that long ago, to be fair. It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And, I think that Cersei or somebody else in the M unit could help. Like, a person that could read minds could give him a defense. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody just sees his eyes darting off in other directions and thinks, oh, there's nothing there. You know what I mean? But you think there's something there enough to defend him, to painstakingly wait 3 days just so you can sit and defend the man that you think is innocent, not just innocent until he's proven guilty. You're standing there saying he is innocent. So, you think there is something there more than just somebody that's chasing squirrels, So, use that, give him a voice.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think the only I guess, flaw in your theory is why would Cersei help them? Like, unless she, for some reason, decides to swap sides. Like, I mean, she's not necessarily... I guess she doesn't view herself as the villain in this scenario, but I don't see why she would help them outside of saying, hey, end of the world's coming, mic drop, I'm free to go now, right?
Because she would, like, if Superman's fallen, Batman's fallen, Wonder Woman's fallen, she's fallen.
Yeah.
So she's got just as much stake in the game as everybody else.
Yeah, no, I mean, I 100% see why she's telling them about this. I'm just saying, why would she help
Weasel?
Yeah.
Yeah, because my argument is that the lawyer could let her out.
Yeah. I mean, the Weasel's the one that
literally
messed up
undo
her
a
face.
cut. Yeah. Well, or back, and then Dr. Phosphorus got a face.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and...
Oh, that is so cool. I like him, man. He's so bad.
It should also be stated that Waller doesn't want him to be proven innocent, right? Because if he's proven innocent, that doesn't he's no longer an asset.
Can't be part of the team. So
no, I mean just talk about like the Weasel stuff and the backstory, and like I felt like I think my big criticism last week was like I really liked the like GI robot stuff, but I didn't feel like it was long enough. Where this week I actually thought it was like the perfect length for that story they needed to tell with him. It's like it's not a very complex story, right? It's very straight and to the point, and I feel like we got every kind of bit of that incident that we kind of needed to. I mean, James Gunn from episode 1 has proven, and Guardians has proven that he's very open with taking, I guess, political stands, and these, taking on these very straight on approaches to a storytelling, the shooting first, helping the innocent later, I think is a very hot topic in, the world right now. And like, how you deal with that. And like that scene of like them shooting Weasel when the girl is like burning alive under the pressure of the building is like
and genuinely when they started shooting.
Yeah, and it's crazy that all they cared about was killing this creature and not about saving any of those kids or even stopping to think and actually process the scenario. They just jump to conclusions like, ooh, scary creature.
As a little girl, bang, 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 shoot at the little girl. Like, could have hit her as well, and she still passed. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. This show almost literally. I've been watching this show when I'm at the gym when I'm doing cardio. This has literally almost had me crying over a cartoon weasel in the middle of the gym. Come on, James Gunn. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. I love it. I love this show. I'm really enjoying it so much more than I thought as well. I think that's the theme here with both Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos. Both of them, again, I didn't want to know a ton of it, stuff going into them. Just wanted to be surprised and enjoy it for what it was. I think Creature Commandos is more deeply tied into where we're going with the DC universe than we thought as well. I think it's going to have implications to Peacemaker. I think it's going to have certain implications to Superman because of Rick Flag Sr. and stuff like that. I think it's going to set the stage going forward and set the momentum. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit before we even went live, is the whole future scenario, right? Where are we going to go with that? Is that going to be contained within the show, or is it going to continue into other projects?
Well, Rick Flag Sr. is making it into Peacemaker, right?
Yeah. And he's going to be in Superman as well.
Okay. I have questions, right? Because I wonder if, because I know he said like whoever voices their character is their character, right?
Yeah.
So, let's just say that some of these lining up might be interesting. Like Frank or Eric or what his name is, right? Frankenstein. Yeah. Now, not to say that David Harbour isn't a cool guy and he can be interesting people, but the way that they have done Eric, I'm not really seeing David Harbour look like that.
Oh, really?
I mean, he did Hellboy, so
I hear that.
I think it'd be very different.
Very different from Frankenstein with red eyes and a mohawk.
Yeah.
You could also do you could technically do it like a CG model and just have him also just voice the character in live action, right? Like a Greek scenario,
maybe like a Hulk scenario too.
Look like Grundy.
It's just his face on the CGI body of it.
I definitely want to talk about this scene and that whole sequence in a second, because again, there's a lot to unpack there. I do want to answer some of these questions really quickly. DH1 in the chat said, with Creature Commandos getting renewed for a second season, which we did hear about today, which honestly is super cool. I always like when there's more show, like there's more an upcoming season we can talk about. It's nice knowing that early on. Yeah. Do you think James Gunn is stepping in and saying any project I create for the new DCU isn't canceled until I say so? Just a thought I had. I saw you were talking about this over on Twitter today, and I don't think he has like unlimited power or anything. Like I don't think he has like
unlimited
power. Yeah, like I don't think he can be like, oh, like 17 seasons of Creature. Like I don't think that's the case. But I mean, I think like I bet he has some say. Like, and again, like the show isn't doing horrible on streaming numbers. Like I think it's doing well enough for them. I imagine it's also probably not a cheap show, but I bet it's not like a super expensive show either. So I bet, like, I don't think Max would have had any, big issues like giving the show another season. Like David Zaslav, I don't think would have a huge issue with that. And especially if he's going to be setting up. Go ahead, Dark.
To be fair to James Gunn, right? We're all knowing about him choosing this as his foray into the DCU, right? But it's done very, very well for world building so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Very well. And season 2 could be another way to just keep the cohesion and world building and exposition dumping going. Do you know what I mean? Because this is telling a great story so far.
Yeah.
While world building in very well. You know what I mean? So once that they've got the introductions and origin stories out of the way for season 2, and we're just in character development and even more world building, I mean, who's to say what the limits are?
Right.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I was actually very shocked to see the season 2 announcement today. Not because I didn't want it. I guess I'm so accustomed now to there being this 2 to 3 year I guess we'll finally do a second season, especially in a shared universe. We're so accustomed to the MCU, where it's okay, we had Miss Marvel season 2 and it's been 3 years and we still haven't heard anything and stuff like that.
Damn. Yeah.
So it's for the season not to even be over, and I'm we're doing a second season. It's whoa, it kind of reminds me of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter and stuff like that, where it's just a show within our universe where they're doing their own thing, while the movies are also kind of doing their own thing, which I guess kind of goes into what he's kind of been saying, where he wants each project to kind of stand alone and kind of be their own individual thing while also kind of connecting.
Question.
Go ahead.
Not that we have spent much time with Rick Flag Sr., but do you buy this turn from such a decorated and honored military man whom our beloved Rick Flag of such a similar disposition is from and inspired by? Do you really think he would just throw it all away for a quick bathroom bang? Do you know what I mean? I understand that all it's going to be is a reprimand from Waller or whatever, but he's putting a lot on the line, and I don't buy it. It's too easy. It's too it's just a woman that he had sex with in the bathroom.
I think it's more so the morality aspect of it that really got to him. Was hey, we can't just kill somebody that hasn't even done anything yet. It's kind of whole oh, would you go back in time and kill this bad person before they did any bad things?
He is a soldier under Amanda Waller. This man has staged so many coups. I'm sure he could do it from home in his underwear while eating his Wheaties. Okay, this man has done some shit. I'm imagining. I don't think his hands are clean in any stretch of any imagination.
Yeah, but I also think they kind of have been playing into that with his character, where now that his son has died, I think he looks up to his son. He's he was 10 times the man that I was. He was a good man, and like I shouldn't still be doing this while he's dead, kind of thing. So I think like with that, with what like the kind of things that she has said to him, to be like, oh yeah, you're a good man, Rick Flag, his computer kicked him out again, I guess.
Oh man.
Oh no. But like, yeah, no, I think his son's death, I think, will be playing a big role. I think kind of how she has kind of upped his ego, being like, no, you are a good man. Like, you stand for blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's back. Did your computer shut down again?
PC didn't crash this time. StreamYard just crashed. That was so weird.
Oh.
I don't know what my issue is tonight.
I'm just glad it's not me for once. Honestly, the day I've had, I'm just glad it's not me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me read this comment too, because this kind of goes with what we're saying. Couldn't you say the same? Couldn't you say Waller's doing the same? She's putting all her stock in the vision that hasn't been proven to come true yet. That's also true.
It depends how like Sarah Connor true it was. Do you know what I mean? Like if it was like a visceral reality that she felt, and she literally has like the doctor she trusts with the academic relevance to give credential to the vision. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like she's just gone right, yes, and I believe it. Like she did verify it in a way that she would know how to.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so I
think
for all intents and purposes, like this is set, not necessarily set in stone, but this is a potential future that could happen if this does not, or if things do not change. But I don't necessarily know why they have to kill her. Like why that's the thing. Why they can't just be like,
bring her back,
crazy vision. Like show her this vision.
Now what's crazy is they've like, I understand obviously like the baby Hitler thing, but like there's, and again we haven't spent much time with her, but there's been nothing in the character that we've seen that screams megalomaniac.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, again, I'm curious, is this like a possession situation? Or is this a double life situation? Like a secret side of her she's hiding?
I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I
think
it's
so like you think that I do this, so I end up doing it, kind of thing.
Yeah, so something interesting that they said in the episode, or what the doctor said basically, right, is that when they analyzed the vision, was she's seeing a future, but she can't necessarily see the things around it that lead to it, which is why they made the little aside, like, oh, why couldn't she see, Weasel clawing her face out, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like she can see that this is where it ends up, but why does it end up there? When does it end up there? Maybe it's because all of these people are coming after her, trying to kill her to stop this end of the world scenario, but in trying to prevent it, they then create that scenario.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting take.
And again, I'm so curious to see, like, because at the moment, she seems to be human. What power has she holded? How is she working with freaking Gorilla Grodd and, this entire army that can kill Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and Peacemaker and the Flash?
My understanding, because of Grodd's involvement, it was then that I was like, oh, she's not the one in charge. She's not the one in control. Mm-hmm. Like, control has been given to something or somebody else. Whether that's Grodd, Brainiac, like anybody. Like, her mind has been taken over by that point, I think. I don't think that's the princess anymore.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think I think there has to be some kind of, and again, like me and Taz were talking about this at the end, I don't know if we're actually going to see this, I think there's a lot of speculation. Will this be a wrapping up in this show and they just kind of stop that potential future? Or is this what we're building to? Is this like the end of Gods and Monsters? Is this the final battle that we're kind of building to?
A very interesting way to start it. I mean, showing you the end right at the start.
Right.
And then that's an end that like we could never possibly get to, because that's all the big ones gone. Do you know what I mean? And there's no way Batman's getting out of that. Do you know what I mean? An adrenaline shot ain't doing that.
I think it's like a like Flash like Savitar situation if they went that way, and I don't think they are. But it's like a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's also like the Batman vs Superman nightmare sequence. They're doing the same thing again. They're showing us crazy post-apocalyptic future where all of our heroes are dead. So, in the fact that now they've announced a season 2 for Creature Commandos, I think that, and also going with the way that James Gunn has phrased how they greenlight projects, right, is until a script is done, they don't greenlight the project or announce the project, right? I think the reason the Creature Commandos announcement came out when it did is they finished all the scripts and everything that they needed to do for season 2. I think that they're going to write this in a way that leads into a second season because they knew they wanted to do a second season. It got the ratings that it needed to in those first few episodes that they're like, okay, it'll be profitable to continue down this road. I saw James also had a quote from him talking about how, they were asking, like, what happens if Superman doesn't perform well? And they're like, well, basically, I hope that doesn't happen, but if it performs well, we're going to keep pumping these things out. If it doesn't perform well, then I don't know what we do. Then we kind of go back to the drawing boards. So I don't necessarily think that they'd put all their eggs in one basket in that regard and say, okay, this is exactly where we're going to be going. What if people hated this, right? There's no way that they were going to just, say, hey, we're going to set up where the live action stuff is going to go in this animated project, even if everything's connected. I think this is what they're building to, whether it be the finale of this season or the finale of season 2 or season 3, wherever they're heading. I think this is going to be contained to Creature Commandos, maybe wrapped up in a live action movie. That would be cool.
That'd be crazy.
But I don't think that it's where we are headed for the DC universe.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like, just a side tangent, I actually think it's very smart, because I think he knows if Superman doesn't do well, they'll probably be like, stop what you're doing, stop any further projects or whatever. So I think it's smart being like, okay, start filming Supergirl, start filming Green Lantern, start doing, because they're not going to scrap, well, I guess they could, but, like, they're probably not going to scrap Supergirl if Superman does well, right? They'll probably do Supergirl, they'll have Clayface out, and then be like, okay, now we're done. So that gives us almost a couple lives, being like, oh, Superman doesn't do well, no. But then Supergirl makes, like, it won't, but like $1 billion. To be like, oh, okay, right? So, like, they can kind of go ahead with that. Kind of gives them a couple chances, being like, oh, Creature Commandos doesn't do well, or like, like, this is a cheap show. Maybe we'll just have a couple seasons of that already on the board and stuff like that. So I think that's smart. Jeffrey brings up Grodd and being like, has anyone thought that Grodd could be taking over her mind? I thought about that too, but is Grodd, like, is he good enough to do all this? Like, is he capable enough to, like, kill? I guess he can, but, like, do we think he is, like, that guy to, like, kill Batman, kill Superman, kill Wonder Woman? Like, that's a big feat.
He's telepathic. He can control and influence people's minds, but could he have that much influence over somebody?
Yeah,
I guess is the real question.
Well, the thing is, it's like this is coming just before Superman, right? And there are big brainiac-y things up in the sky.
Oh, Brainiac would make a lot of sense, actually.
Right? So it could be like seeds are being planted. Do you mean? Like, and another question I have before I want to ask a question about Peacemaker, so don't let me forget, is what was it? I hate when that happens. Yeah, right. So, like, the in Peacemaker, like, he made a whole joke about Batman's villains, right? Do you think, as much as the whole world building that he's doing with the heroes, do you think the same will be happening on the villain side, and that a Legion of Doom could be something that could be looked at because Lex Luthor, in as scientific as he might be, might realize that he needs help?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we have a League of our own?
I mean, if we're just kind of looking at the first couple projects, like, we already have a Luthor, obviously. You could add, like, a Clayface to that lineup if you wanted to. Grodd. Yeah, we have Grodd. And Screenline in the comments mentions Grodd. Hope Grodd gets serious spotlight in Gods and Monsters. I would love like a high budget looking Grodd. Like I would kill for like a Flash versus Grodd movie. Like I think that'd be fun. So cool. I think that would look really so fun. Sick.
Plus, considering Suicide Squad and like the DCEU happened, like there's a load of villains that already like have existed through Easter eggs or even being in movies and everything else. So, who's alive and who's about is a very interesting question.
I do want to talk about like the characters that we see here, because obviously, again, like this is our first look at the like DCU and some of who might be some of the major players. Obviously, and I don't have all the photos kind of pulled up next to me, unless I do. Hold on, do I have some of the other ones? Okay, I have a couple of the other ones. So obviously, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. We know that. We saw Grodd, obviously. What's that?
Is Martian Manhunter there?
I haven't heard anything about Martian Manhunter. I haven't seen anyone say that.
I haven't seen him at least.
We did see a dead Peacemaker.
Yeah,
I think it was someone behind the scenes had mentioned that Blue Beetle is also in the shot, and that Wally West is in the shot, which has kind of sparked a huge conversation about like. And we don't need to go down the whole rabbit hole. We kind of did this at the start of the stream already, but like, is Wally West the main Flash of the DCU? Like, it seems like, where's that photo? I think they said.
I'm so interested in how he's going to handle this, right? Because everybody has their own idea of how the Flash should look and work, right? Everybody's got an opinion on it. So, like, my question is the introduction of Flash going to be like handled by him? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it going to be in a project that he's doing, or is it going to be somebody else's project? And then either they're going to have free reign, like the last Flash movie, or like, is he going to be like, right, I need it to look exactly like this for what I'm doing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm dying to know.
If I had my way, and I think Taz, I think we've talked about this a dozen times. How I would do the Flash is I would have Barry Allen be the current Flash of this universe, but he's kind of like on his way out. Like he's in his 40s, like late 40s or whatever. He's been doing this for a while, and the whole universe is like from the perspective of Wally. So like I would have him be in Titans. I would have him be Kid Flash at the time, and by the end of Chapter 1. Barry dies, and we actually have to see Wally take on the mantle, because I think that's we've never seen that before. I want to see Wally have to step up and become the Flash. I think that's such a fascinating story, and like I don't know, like I think that's a way of like having your cake and eating it too. People who want Barry, but also the people who want the main Flash to be Wally. I think that's a bit of both. You get to have both of those things.
Yeah, I have a slightly.
Speed Force.
What about the Speed Force?
Just he uses it different to Barry, so I'm interested to see how he uses it.
Sure. Yeah. I have a slightly different take on what I would like to see.
Yeah,
I would like this to be Wally West kind of post Barry, is in a very similar vein to what you're talking about, is he has to learn what it means to have the mantle of the Flash, but kind of start it in a place where Barry has already gone into the Speed Force. He is, for all intents and purposes, dead. Whereas Wally kind of knows, okay, there's a possibility that he comes back. So Wally's maybe in this state where he's like, okay, I'm just kind of watching over, taking over the mantle while Barry's gone. But while Barry's gone turns into months and years and that sort of thing. So I think that then we kind of maybe get the evolution of him just being Kid Flash watching out for Barry, to then, okay, Barry really is gone. I need to step up and actually become the Flash. And then we can maybe get some Flash family stuff down the line in Chapter 2, Chapter 3, whatever. Barry comes back out of the Speed Force, and we get the kind of rebirth reunion sort of thing, but reversed this time.
So you would have him as the sidekick first, and not as, like, say, Miles Morales, where he didn't know the hero at first. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, an interesting thing would be if, like, he developed Speed Force just as Barry disappears. Do you know what I mean? So like the Flash mantle has existed.
Okay.
And he doesn't know that Flash would come back or not. So he dons Kid Flash to start fighting crime.
Right.
And
like
has to like try and learn what it means to fill shoes of a stranger and an idol.
Yeah, I like that.
And a loved person.
I like that.
You know?
That's kind of a good mix of the both, yeah.
What did I kind of want to look. Again, I think we gotta start wrapping it up here. But like, going back to the Waller situation, I was mentioning this over on the Rodent stream I was on earlier inside the week. But like, I really enjoy the potential, I think, to Waller's freak out in this episode, because I think easily the most vulnerable we've ever seen Amanda Waller. I think easily the most passionate we've seen her. I think she's usually very calm and collected. You know, she's someone that can kind of calm in her own way, I guess, because I know she has her freakouts, but like, she's a character that can look Batman in the face and like stare him down and stuff like that. So I think to see her like genuinely terrified of what she saw today, I think is cool.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of like that because side. Like, and like her whole thing is like, okay, I will do whatever it takes to protect the greater good, right? Like, I will kill a whole city of people if it means the world is safe. And she sees that she failed. Like, this vision, she failed on her one mission, which was to save the entire world. So I think that that's a really fun angle to kind of give to her. And again, depending on where we end the season, where does Waller lead, right? Is this still a looming thing she's going to have to deal with there? Or is that kind of wrapped up and she's kind of dealing with like, okay, maybe like, I don't know if we do like a PTSD thing with her, but maybe like that, you know, mental thing is kind of still looming with her. Go that show, which maybe it's like a like Iron Man or like this Age of Ultron thing. It's like, okay, I saw what the future could be, and I'm making precautions to, even if that future's over, another something like that could happen again. And like the thing she's gonna put in place.
Need a suit of armor around the world.
Yeah.
Again,
is that Vigilante?
That self-fulfilling prophecy.
Is that Vigilante?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Is that the little Cobra Ninja at the front then?
Oh, Judo Master. Yeah, I think somebody pointed him out as well. Yeah.
That's adorable. That's adorable. Speaking of, right? This is the question I wanted to ask about Peacemaker, but I forgot what it was.
Okay.
So, like, from my understanding, they said they're not doing Butterflies in season 2, right?
Right.
But
that's what I've heard.
alien invasion did happen. So, like, are we to assume that like season 1 happened, but the finale was the climax of the invasion and the battle? There weren't butterflies everywhere else. It's that we destroyed the hive. We destroyed their food source. So within the 3 months, they will die out. Do you know what I mean? It's not that they've got vats and vats of it stored and we're going to have butterfly people for the next 3 years because they know how to like eke it out with some water and olive oil, you know, like they are gone kind of, you know what I mean? So like, that's where we are.
James Gunn has said everything in Peacemaker is canon except for that Justice League shot. And then that they're going to explain that in season 2. Like what?
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated. I'm so fascinated because they set up such an interesting finale that like I'm like Moon Knight. I'm just so down for it. Just take me season 2 now.
Oh, you know what? This is kind of an interesting thought. Maybe that's the future where there is no such thing as a Justice League. That's kind of an interesting idea where it's like she kind of helps form or like kind of like push characters in a place to put together a team kind of thing, right?
Like kind of maybe all those heroes died because they were trying to fight the threats
by themselves.
That's an interesting
one at a time. They all queued up.
Yeah. But I still want to, I guess, anchor down the theory of the self-fulfilling prophecy. I think they're going to try to take these precautions and take these steps to avoid this future, and whether that comes down to, you know, showing the princess the vision and telling her like, hey, this is what happens in the future. Make sure you don't do that, and we won't kill you, sort of thing. But I think the whole, maybe the revelation of that, or just the trauma of having this kill squad sent after you, maybe it kind of forces her to snap or to break in some sort of way, or again, maybe in a way as well, Cersei is potentially the cause of that vision, and maybe why she's having that vision.
Yeah, like, and also
got that face scar yet, has she? Like, that hasn't happened, so maybe she gets weaseled.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That looks like she got weaseled.
Yeah. Oh, that has to be a thing. I'm gonna get weaseled.
Because also the element that I wonder, like when the commanders go after her, like her immediate reaction is gonna be like, why did Rick Flag send his team after me? Like, why did he do this?
Yeah.
So that might be her
breaking
break
some trust there.
Yeah, well. she's clearly in love with this man. Like, she has fallen so hard down the like Flag rabbit hole that I think like that might break her. Like, that might be what it does. Again, there's so many like.
Okay, so are we set then? Like, because this is the thing. Like, we sit there saying, "Oh, like we know these characters. We're in 4 episodes, right?" And I'm really upset about the turn that Rick Flag has taken. So, like, as much as we say, "Oh, she's great," she just could be just pushed to this. Like, she could just be hiding like a whole other side of it.
Yeah, 100%. This is just what we know on the surface.
I'm still not completely...
That mustache of that big guy could just as easily be sinister as friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. She could be hiding just an absolute psychopathic personality behind the, exterior.
Before last week, I still thought she was Clayface. Like that was still my main theory of the season. Which I think we're getting him next week, so that's exciting.
Oh, no shit.
Okay, so this was my last kind of opinion or thoughts on the episode I wanted to bring up. I'm hyped for the Frankenstein and Flag to go on their best friend road trip together.
Yeah.
God.
I am so conflicted on Frankenstein because he's such
broken.
He is such a obviously terrible guy. He's harassed and abused and stalked this girl for 500 years or whatever it is. But he's so much fun to watch. He is such a fun character. Just kind of like David Harbour's having so much fun in that performance. That it's like, you know what?
He is so broken. Like, he is everything wrong with just guys and guy mentality. Do you know what I mean? He's just. It's just like, she was made for me. She is mine. I must have her. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. She's not allowed autonomy. She's not allowed to decide who she wants. Do you know what I mean? It's just you are fixated on her. You can't get over her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, God damn, it's been 500 years, like you said. Like, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I think it's so interesting because no one has taught him like morals. Like, there, he just kind of became alive one day. And it's like, so what I think is how that's what I think.
Right. He can't really differentiate like his feelings from what's actually right and wrong. He just kind of knows how he feels and acts very impulsively on those thoughts.
Okay, yeah. So there's a part then that wonders then, is it all his fault, right? Because he is a reanimated dead person. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, he is very eloquent. But like you said, like, he is not in control or in touch with the emotions that he knows how to describe.
Mm-hmm. So maybe Flag can kind of help him get in tune with his emotions and actually teach him how to be a real person. Because it seems like that is something that the Dr. Frankenstein kind of did not do. He just brought him back to life and was like, hey, have at it.
Yeah, well, that's another fault.
Between him and the bride, and like different parts of the brain are alive.
Right. And it is interesting too, is you're right, is he definitely went a lot further in, I wouldn't necessarily say rehabilitating, but I guess teaching the bride how to actually be a person. And she seems much more in tune with humanity and reality in a way. Yes, she is still a bad guy, and still doesn't necessarily have those, I guess, drawbacks or moral codes that you would see in other characters and other more human characters. But again, I think that was a big thing lacking from Frankenstein's monster, is that he's just, you know, he's just a dude that's has all these crazy thoughts and emotions and has no idea how to handle them or what to do with them.
Yeah, and I think, like, not to read too much into it, and this kind of just hit me, like, they were born in, like, the 1800s. Morals were a lot different back then. I do wonder if it was, like, a stereotype thing where it's like, oh, he's a man, so he needs to think with his fists, and he needs to be strong, and, oh, he always gets the woman or whatever. When he was trying to raise the, like, female, it's like, oh, you have to be, like, compassionate, and you have to be in tune with your emotions and blah. Obviously not the right things to do, but I'm saying, like, from the perspective of, like, a 1800s man,
No, but he is shown through the conversation with Flag to not fully understand the situation. Do you know what I mean? He reads what he wants into it. So like, he is savvy to the ways of the modern world, but only in the way that it benefits or reflects his ideals. Do you know what I mean? Like that whole Harry met Sally thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just like, oh yeah, no, that was just real. That was just fully real.
Yeah.
Like, he
and there's
go on.
Oh, God. Yeah, and there's been no one that can tell him no. There's been no one to say, like, no, you can't do that. And I'm a little worried for Flag,
until Rick Flag was like, no, dude, you can't just break into somebody's house and try to kill them for no reason.
Like, I wonder how that's going to go when he's like, hey, dude, you can't just stalk this girl for 100 years or whatever. He's like, oh, yes, I can. You can't tell me what to do, smash or whatever. Like, I'm wondering how he's going to get through to him. Yeah. Again, that's going to be really fun to, I think, see, and how much we're going to dive into that next week. I think will be interesting.
I did think it was funny, though, is like it really plays into kind of the meme of like, oh, dudes just become friends really fast for no reason. It's just like, you could just like meet your best bro somewhere and just, you guys just hit it off, and you're best friends now, and they're just sitting in the kitchen chilling, having tea.
I think it was one of my favorite jokes. I'll go. Good.
Go on.
I think it was one of my favorite jokes of the episode. If she's like, "Have you seen Titanic?" Not many people have. Like, I thought
that
was that was funny.
Can we talk about the devastating loss that is G.I. Robot?
Yeah, go ahead.
I am heartbroken. He was a champion of the team, always fully excited to be there, providing that it was fulfilling his primary objective. He believed it as such in the end and went out with a big old smile on his face. It was great to see the upgrades that he got from the bad guys. And yeah, I really hope he's in it next week, but I don't think he will be. And like, there's a potential for GI Robot alternatives, but they won't be him.
No.
So he's still in the intro, which I find interesting. So maybe we get to see either they put the head on another robot body, or they take the consciousness and put it somewhere else, and we get him back. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back. But also I think it would set a good precedent as well if they're like, hey, main character, we're gonna kill him off in the first few episodes, and he's just gone.
Yeah, I kind of think we're going to Suicide Squad it, where I think characters are going to die this season. I think we're going to see maybe one or two of these characters die. We got a season 2. I think the way to do it is bring back a couple of the regulars from this season, of course, but also add some new faces next season. Add some new characters we can kind of.
You would wait
until season 2? Rotate the cast like Legends of Tomorrow in a way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would wait though. I would do it in season 1 if I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would have the change be almost instant because they keep going back to the base. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could be like, oh, you lost a member. Okay. Next mission. Your new partner is. You know what I mean? Like, it could just be that easy.
I guess I don't know if we're going back to the base this season because we only have 3 episodes left. That is.
Like, yeah, we were already back there, like in episode 4, which is how we got the lawyer and the weasel together.
Yeah, but we left again, right? Like we left to go get.
Yeah, but it's only a plane ride away. Is all I'm saying.
Sure. I just imagine like it's crazy. There's only like an hour left of the show. Like that's the equivalent of like.
It's only 7 episodes.
It's 7 episodes. Yeah.
Okay, that's an odd number, but okay.
It is. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, I know we have to end the stream here soon. Like we're going over almost 2.5 hours. I'm so sorry, Darth. I know it's late for you. But like really quickly, like, do we have any like theories on anyone who's gonna die? Because because again, we still don't know so many characters. That's hard for me to be like, oh, they're gonna die when we're just getting to know them.
Yeah. Well, I would say Weasel's probably safe because G.I. Robot and Weasel were both Sean Gunn characters, right? James Gunn's brother. So he wouldn't kill his brother off twice unless he had another character cooked up for him. Yeah. I think there's a possibility maybe we see Frankenstein die by the end of the season.
Oh, maybe.
That could be a possibility. Maybe he kind of, learns what it means to be a real human and sacrifices himself for the greater good or something like that.
I'm not ready for the bride to go. Don't do that, Jeffrey.
Yeah. I think because like she's basically like the main character outside of Rick Flag.
Mainstay. I think her, Rick Flag, and Weasel are probably safe.
I forget the water lady's name, but I think she's safe because James Gunn loves interesting characters. So, like visually as well. So, like I know she's safe. I know he's dying to bring her to live action, and I know he's already sitting there planning it all.
Yeah,
like I'm thinking Phosphorus is safe too because I don't necessarily know how you kill nuclear skeleton man.
Yeah, I guess
he is such a surprise. Honestly, I genuinely was expecting a dry character, but
it's Alan Tudyk, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my god.
So good.
Yeah. I genuinely thought they were just going to use like an interesting voice or something, but like not much of a personality. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe they don't kill anybody else because again, like I don't know who. I guess maybe Frankenstein, but I feel like Frankenstein has so much more story left to tell. Like I feel like we're just scratching the surface. I want to see like a full arc with him. I want him to I could see it several seasons.
I mean, it's not Suicide Squad. It is Creature Commandos. So I think that maybe that makes these characters a little safer.
Do we know whose story's next? Is it? I think it might be Dr. Phosphorus.
Or if I had to guess too, next week from the trailer, it's supposed to be Rick Flag and Frankenstein focus, so it's one of them most likely. I mean, we got most of Frankenstein's backstory, but probably we'll get some more Rick Flag stuff potentially.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I feel like I have to let you guys go now. I think we've been going long enough. I think we have to wrap this up.
Yeah, before my computer crashes again.
Absolutely. Darth, Taz, thank you so much for being here today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Starting with you, Darth. Where can people find you? Where are you located?
YouTube, Darth Bunyan.
Amazing. And what about Amazing. And what about you, Taz?
YouTube.com/ToxicTaz.
Amazing. And yeah, stay tuned for us. We'll be back. I actually don't know when we'll be back, either Monday or Tuesday or something. We'll be back at some point. Next week, I actually want to look back on the year of 2024 and some of the shows that we've covered in the last year. I think that's going to be really fun.
It's crazy. This year's almost over.
Amazing. I know.
It went by so fast.
I know. And also, again, this is probably... I might jump on a stream right after this on another person's channel, but this is really one of the last pieces of content I'm making, before Christmas. So I hope everyone has a good Christmas. It is actually, Darth, it is Christmas Eve for you right now, huh?
Yeah, and I got work
30 minutes away from Christmas Eve.
Okay, yeah. So I will let you guys go. Obviously, Merry Christmas. Stay safe. Have fun. Have a good holiday, everybody.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.